called out by the extraordinary female boxer that is Claressa Shields. Bigger gloves while she's wearing smaller gloves, headgear, whatever. Here are the scenarios. You're going to hit her and have women groups complaining about how you hit a woman. You're hitting on a woman.
No matter what happens, Rolando Romero just can't come out of this looking good. Stephen A. Smith clapped back after Claressa Shields called him out, and his point was simple. The moment Romero steps in that ring, he's already in trouble. Win or lose, the backlash is coming his way, and it all comes down to one thing: she's a woman. That changes the whole picture right there.
I don't want to rain on Claressa Shields' parade because I want her to get whatever she wants. I got a lot of respect for her. Unless you're going to go in there and let her punch you without you punching her at all, without you trying to win at all, without you competing, you just want to be a punching bag. Unless that's what you talk about doing.
Rolando Romero also fired back at Claressa Shields after her bold Callout, saying she could probably get the better of him, but only because he'd never raise his hand against a woman. He made it clear he just wouldn't feel right stepping in the ring with her, no matter what. This whole thing kicked off just recently when Shields sat down on a podcast and started talking about fighting, and that's when she said that she could beat a Rolly Romero.
Just happened the other day. Claressa Shields was on a podcast and she was talking about fighting, and she said that she could beat Rolly Romero. She said, and I think the guy came back to her saying, "Oh my God, he's a power puncher. I mean, once he connects." And she said, "I'm bigger than him, and bigger guys, bigger boxers are generally going to win against smaller guys. So I have better skills than him, better boxing skills than him, and I'm bigger than him." I'm just your thoughts when you saw that clip. What did you think when you saw that?
I believe her. I believe she can beat me. Yeah, she'll knock me out.
Why out of all the names did you pull your name out of the hat?
No. I believe her. I truly believe she can beat me.
Yeah, interesting. Give me your ultimate goal.
In a recent interview, Romero said he genuinely couldn't understand why she kept coming at him, especially considering there was never any real fight being planned between them. He did give credit where it was due, though, acknowledging that Shields is one of the best female fighters in the game.
Why specifically with me? I think, of course, she is the greatest fighter of all time, the greatest female fighter of all time. There's no ifs, ands, buts, or questions about that. But I don't know why she always targets me.
Like, did anything, did you two run into each other? Anything that all these years later, it's
those were the first two interactions. I remember the exact dates and everything because, well, I remember everything that has happened to me in my life.
Because, I mean, I know you're not the first, because a couple of years back, I know her and Keith Thurman had words flying back and forth.
Yeah, I never understood that one either. But it's still, at the end of it, I don't care. Me and her will never be in the ring. I do not hit women.
But he made one thing crystal clear: this fight is not happening. Romero stressed that men's and women's boxing are kept separate for a reason, and that's not something he's willing to ignore. Those divisions exist to keep things fair, and at the end of the day, no matter how much he respects what she brings to the table, a matchup like this just doesn't make sense.
She's great, but there's male and females, and it's divided for a reason.
I mean, in a way, it's created headlines for you. I mean, no one expects you and her to fight. So, I mean, it's not like anyone out there is calling for a Claressa Shields fight. It just, I know it came out of left field for a lot of us on the sidelines. We were like, you know, probably should call out Michaela, should call out Katie Taylor. We're like, why is she calling out Rolly?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know, but she also knows it's never gonna happen. Aside from that, too, she thanked me because I knocked out the dude that had knocked her out in sparring. I knocked him out in my 11th fight.
I mean, in a way, this whole thing has put your name out there and got people talking, so there's that. Nobody actually expects these two to get in the ring together, and it's not like fans are out here demanding this fight happen. It just caught a lot of us off guard, honestly. We're sitting on the sidelines like, why him? She could have gone after Michaela, she could have called out Katie Taylor, there were plenty of names to choose from. But Romero, yeah, that one came out of nowhere for most of.
She is no joke. She can fight. That is her in a boxing ring right now, fighting a man. That's who she's fighting. That's what she does. Claressa Shields is no joke. She's fired numerous shots in his direction on multiple occasions in recent years, but reiterated her call out of him over the weekend. She's the pound-for-pound king in women's boxing. She's 14-0, only 2 knockouts.
Stephen A. Smith jumped in and added some important context to the whole conversation. He pointed out that, yes, Claressa has sparred with men before, but sparring and actually stepping into a professional boxing match are 2 completely different things. A sanctioned fight carries a whole different level of intensity, higher stakes, strict rules, and real consequences. So just because she's gone a few rounds with men in the gym doesn't mean you can compare that to an actual competitive fight. Stephen A. made it clear those 2 things are nowhere near the same.
Have more accolades, you might have the aura of this unstoppable, immovable object as a woman, but not as a man. You will get beat by Rolando Romero, and you will get hospitalized by a guy like Gennady Golovkin, which you called out one time. I can come out of retirement right now at 40, in my mid-40s, and beat a Claressa Shields. You cannot do that, Chris Maddox. You cannot disrespect women's greatness and men's greatness, or not even greatness, just average, because Rolando Romero is average.
Well, let me drill down that for a minute there, because I fundamentally agree with you that Claressa cannot beat Rolly. I mean, Rolly, for all his wackiness, can punch. Like, and even though he is several weight classes lighter than Claressa Shields, you get hit by Rolly, it's different. It's a lot different than getting hit by Lonnie Daniels and Franchon Cruz-Dezern and all the women that she has fought over the last couple of years. Even if it's just body shots that someone like Rolly is throwing, it would be, it would end badly for
Claressa Shields is absolutely no joke. Let's get that straight. She's been taking shots at Romero for a while now, coming at him on multiple occasions over the years, and she brought it right back up again just this past weekend. She is the pound-for-pound queen of women's boxing, sitting at a perfect 14-0. Only 2 knockouts on that record, though. Now look, nobody is taking anything away from her. She is a force in women's boxing, arguably unstoppable at that level. But stepping in with a male fighter like Romero is a whole different conversation. Even lighter men hit on a different level compared to the opponents she's been facing. The punch power, the physical strength, the durability, all of it makes a professional fight against a male boxer genuinely dangerous for her. And that's just the reality.
You can go where Rolly's at and beat that. Rolly can't box nothing like me. It don't matter about no power. You don't have no skill. So next time Rolly come in my inbox, just know, yeah, I'm really about that, and I will show up where you at and show you what's up. He like, oh, you're not better than me and I'm not better than you. I'm just telling you that all of the greats have been dropped. I got a video of all your favorite fighters getting dropped. Rollies, congratulations. You got knocked out. Shut up. Shut up. You got knocked out in a real fight. Foreign. You got knocked out for real. So hush your mouth. Shakur beat your ass. Ryan beat you up. See, the female beat you up. Devin Haney, a dog walk you. Everybody like, who is Rolly? The dude who Tank knocked out. And when I see Rolly, I want you to keep that same energy you have over that internet. That's all I.
Shields, however, had a counter to all of that. She argued that Romero isn't exactly a technically gifted boxer, saying his success in the ring has more to do with his power and awkward style than any real skill or technique. She also threw out the fact that every high-level fighter he's gone up against has managed to put him down, and in her eyes that says everything. That's the difference, she's saying, between just being powerful and actually knowing how to box.
Look, I want to talk to Claressa Shields, the GOAT. I want to tell you straight out, because no one in women's boxing dares tell Claressa Shields the truth. You are an incredible boxer in the women's division. What you accomplished is incredible. I mean, it probably won't be broken. 2 gold medals, undisputed from junior middleweight all the way to heavyweight. Incredible accolades. They'll probably never be exceeded. But you can't beat a man. There's limits to boxing. That's the reason every sport in the world separates women from men.
Sergio Mora stepped in and gave Claressa Shields her full flowers, highlighting just how remarkable her career has been in women's boxing. 2 Olympic gold medals, undisputed champion across multiple weight classes, all the way from middleweight up to heavyweight. The resume speaks for itself. Mora was the first to acknowledge that her skill, her technique, and everything she's accomplished is truly extraordinary, and she absolutely deserves her place among the greatest female boxers of all time. But he was also very firm on one thing. The reason men's and women's boxing are kept separate is not by accident, and that separation exists for a very...
Serena Williams, the greatest tennis player, was on a talk show with David Letterman. Letterman asked her, could you compete with a man? No way. She had the humility to say, no, they're bigger, they're stronger, they're faster. They did a match, and it wasn't even a best against the best. Serena Williams fought a 200th ranked tennis player and got beat. Both Williams sisters got beat by the 200th contender in tennis, but it was a man. Same thing will happen here if Claressa Shields decides to ever fight a man. She can fight the 200th ranked boxer in her division and will lose, because there's a separation in strength, in size, in resistance, and being able to take a punch and rehydrating. It's 2 separate fields. So you can't move the field goal because you're the greatest at what you do as a woman. You have XX chromosomes. You can't come to this side with XY. XY's stronger than you. They're stronger, they're bigger, they're faster.
Mora drew a comparison that pretty much said it all. He brought up Serena Williams and asked how she would do going up against male tennis players. And the point landed perfectly. Even the most gifted female athletes in the world run into physical differences when they're lined up against men, and that's just the honest truth. Men generally bring more strength, more speed, and more endurance to the table, and that alone can completely flip the dynamics of any competition. In boxing specifically, men hit harder, they take shots better, and they bounce back faster. That makes a professional fight genuinely unsafe for a woman, even one as elite as Shields. And that right there is exactly why these divisions exist in the first place. Not to disrespect anyone, but to protect fairness and safety for everyone.
She was a boy, bro. That's why I'm trying to tell you.
She was a boy.
If she was a boy, she'd be Floyd Mayweather. Hello.
I don't know.
If she
That's
was
already
a
no,
boy,
you can't do that.
She will be Floyd Mayweather. How can she not,
can't,
bro?
No, but I'm saying you can't do that. If she was a boy, she might be playing soccer. We don't know what. You don't know what.
That's a great thing to say, but I'm just speaking like far as her.
Yeah.
If she was a boy, bro,
would be like.
Do you think she could actually beat a male like champion? Like seriously, like on some real shit. Like I know she tough, but you think she could beat any man champion?
My opinion is girls, boys is boys.
Right.
A girl is gonna be a girl. I don't think a girl can beat a man. That's the same thing like you ask basketball players.
Yeah.
Like, can a female basketball player beat a male basketball?
Yeah.
Come on, bro. LeBron.
Cause Claressa be talking hot though.
Nah, she's like that though.
Shakur Stevenson also weighed in and gave Claressa Shields a ton of respect, recognizing just how talented and dominant she has been in women's boxing. He praised everything about her game, the skill, the technique, the accomplishments, and made it clear she has proven herself against the very best in her division without question. But Stevenson also kept it real when the conversation shifted to her facing male fighters. He gave an honest take on the physical gap between men and women and didn't sugarcoat it. As incredible as Shields is, her greatness lives within women's boxing, and crossing over to compete against men brings challenges that go way beyond just skill level. Then he dropped something that really stood out. He said that if Shields had been born a man, she could have been right up there with Floyd Mayweather Jr. That right there says everything about how highly he thinks of her potential.
Female athlete, bro.
Yeah.
She talks shit. She's flashy. And she's the best fighter in the world, bro.
Yeah,
There's nobody better than Claressa as a woman, bro. I don't give a who you name. Nobody is coming close to her.
Yeah,
Two Olympic gold medals, bro. So if that's the case, if this girl was a man,
if she was a man,
bro, you know how much support to have of her. Like, the whole boxing world to have crazy support because she'll be Floyd Mayweather, bro.
So Claressa Shields or Layla Ali?
Man, come on.
No, I'm talking about both in their prime.
In their prime, it don't matter. Bro, she is the greatest woman boxer to ever put on a pair of boxing.
But Stevenson also made it clear that at the end of the day, boxing has to stay fair and competitive above all else. He gave Shields every bit of credit she deserves, but he pointed out that weight classes and divisions in this sport exist for a real reason. Those structures are there to make sure fighters are competing on a level playing field and to protect what makes the sport credible in the first place. So while he had nothing but praise for everything Shields has done and continues to do inside the ring, he stood firm on the idea that keeping those divisions clear and intact is what keeps the competition honest and the sport.
Told him she wanted to fight. He initially shunned it, then thought about it, and said he would only do it for charity. And if she's willing to do it for charity, he will accept. She's fired numerous shots in his direction on multiple occasions in recent years, but reiterated her call out of him over the weekend. She's the pound for pound king in women's boxing. She's 14-0, only 2 knockouts though. Thurman is a former unified welterweight champion who's only lost to Manny Pacquiao, as I told you. Shields tweeted, quote, "I'll fight Thurman at 154 pounds. So serious. All the respect in the world to him, too. I just think I can outbox him." Thurman told Sporting News, "I did not see it, but I've already got text messages all about it. Look, I can fight for any charity event. We can raise money and let you try to showcase your skills and talent." Thurman later said, "I would wear bigger gloves. I would let her wear smaller gloves. I would let her wear headgear too. I don't really want to punch a girl in the face." I don't want to rain on Claressa Shields' parade because I want her to get whatever she wants. I got a lot of respect for her.
Now, before all this back and forth with Romero, Claressa Shields had already been making noise by calling out Keith Thurman. She put him on notice publicly, warning him to watch his step and making it very clear she was confident she could get in there and fight him with both hands. The whole thing sparked up after Thurman came out claiming he could beat her, and Shields wasn't about to let that slide. She clapped back and stood her ground on her ability and toughness. She did leave the door open slightly, suggesting an exhibition matchup could potentially happen. But when it comes to an actual sanctioned mixed gender fight, boxing regulations make that pretty much impossible.
These men who regulars can't fight. These men, the fact that I fight how I fight, and the fact that it ain't been done yet, but that they feel that it's possible that, oh my God, she can beat a man. If I can beat a man in boxing, I can beat them who regular men.
I think that's the issue though. They know like she could probably get me. She shouldn't be saying that.
They intimidated. That's the issue. But I can't help that if you don't train, you don't work out, that I'm boxing for 18 years. I can't help that. But ain't no regular Smojo, man or woman, off the block about to come and give me the hands. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Like I done sparred against Earl Spence, Shakur Stevenson, Jamel Herring, Robert Easton. I done sparred against some really great boxers. And the thing is, I ain't saying that I beat these guys up, but I didn't go in there and get dropped and get curved out. I went in there and boxed and did my thing. Get in the gym, my boy. You ain't got to worry about me. You getting.
Shields' comments set off a pretty big debate across the entire boxing community. Fans and analysts everywhere started weighing in, going back and forth between respecting her confidence and her abilities on one side, and acknowledging the very real practical limitations and safety concerns that come with putting a female boxer in against a male professional on the other. But whatever your take on it is, one thing that nobody can argue with is that this whole situation showed exactly who Claressa Shields is as a person. Bold, fearless, and never shy about stepping up and challenging the biggest names in the sport, regardless of
being mentioned by Claressa Shields that she could beat Rolly Romero. She cannot beat Rolando Rolly Romero. She cannot. And I didn't see what Shakur said to his defense. And people said that people sent this to me and saying Shakur is agreeing that Claressa Shields could beat Rolly Romero. Stop! Claressa Shields cannot beat Rolly Romero. She is great. Icon. She is a woman. I don't care how much she wants to compare herself to men. She is not a man.
Look, I'm not here to throw shade at Claressa Shields, because I genuinely want to see her get everything she's going after. I have a lot of respect for her. Shields has been pretty straightforward about what she's looking for: real challenges, not fights that are just there for the show. She trains with male sparring partners regularly to keep her skills sharp. But she's also been very clear that she has no interest in stepping in with someone inexperienced, undersized, or too young just to grab some headline. That's not what she's about. She wants to test herself against seasoned, elite-level fighters who can actually push her and give her claims real weight. That mindset right there shows how serious she is about competing at the absolute highest level. Her ambition isn't built on spectacle, it's built on skill and preparation. Every fight she pursues has to mean something and has to be a true measure.
Stronger. I am strong as hell at heavyweight. And I know that from how I punch the pads, from the guys I'm sparring with, their reactions when we get tied up in if we get tied up in our sparring, how I'm pushing them back, and I got pretty big shoulders and a pretty big back, and I'm actually super strong at heavyweight, so I'm carrying everything the same, and I still got my speed, which we were worried about, but hey, it's still there, and everything's...
A lot of people out there have been throwing around the idea that Claressa Shields could actually beat Rolando Romero, but most boxing experts aren't buying it. Nobody is questioning what Shields is. She is a phenomenal athlete and a true icon in women's boxing, full stop. But the idea that she could go in there and beat Romero just doesn't hold up when you look at the real world of professional boxing. And this conversation isn't about putting down what women have achieved in the sport, not even close. It's about being honest that men's and women's boxing are divided for very good reasons. The physical differences in strength, speed, size, and the ability to absorb punishment play a massive role in how professional fights play out. And trying to compare across genders just doesn't really hold up in that context. You also don't really hear male fighters going around claiming they could beat the top women in the sport, because those kinds of matchups just aren't practical or meaningful in any real sense. What this whole debate does do is shine a light on just how extraordinary Shields truly is, while also reminding everyone why the structural divisions in boxing exist. Because mixed gender competition at the professional level isn't just unrealistic, it's genuinely unsafe. Even despite everything that's been said, Claressa Shields isn't backing down from her position one bit. She firmly believes she has the size, the strength, and the skills to compete with anybody, man or woman. She points to her training, her technique, and her natural athleticism as the foundation of her confidence, and she's not apologizing for any of it. In her mind, everything she has accomplished in women's boxing has prepared her to rise to any challenge that gets put in front of her. And while the critics keep bringing up the physical differences between men and women, Shields holds firm that skill, smart strategy, and pure determination can go a long way in closing that gap. Her whole stance on this reflects exactly the kind of fearless mentality she carries everywhere she goes. Always pushing, always